Ladies and gentlemen, many, many years ago, I knew a girl. She was bright, she was beautiful, she was full of life. She was always smiling. She was the sort of journalist who couldn't tolerate injustice. Her name was Soumya Vishwanathan. Had she lived, she would have been 40 this year. Before I tell you why I'm talking about her today, I want to tell you what happened 15 years ago. The date was 30th of September, 2008. Soumya was on a late night shift at India Today television. She wrapped up and left office in the wee hours of the morning. It was about 3 o'clock. Few hours later came news that was something that many of us have still not been able to comprehend. Soumya, on her way to her parents' home in Vasant Kunj in Delhi, was shot dead. Her body was found in her car. Who would want to kill Soumya? Why would they want to kill her? For almost 6 months, ladies and gentlemen, no one could answer those questions. No one. Then 6 months later, another young woman, a BPO employee, was shot dead on the same route. The case was finally cracked and a gang of 5 robbers were ultimately arrested. What happened next is a testament to just how dysfunctional India's criminal judicial system is. How the process becomes a punishment for victims and their families. Soumya's trial, ladies and gentlemen, went on for 15 years. 15 years, ladies and gentlemen. It took 13 years to present the evidence. 13 years. No parent should have to go through this. No parent. Soumya's elderly parents came to court on every hearing. Sometimes the public prosecutor didn't show up. Many times the hearing ended even before it began. They knocked at many doors, but nothing could knock them down. There had to be closure. There was no other way. So today, after 15 years, they have some sort of closure or justice for their justice-loving daughter, their only child. 4 of the robbers have been convicted for her murder. Their sentencing will be next week. Soumya's parents don't want her killers to hang. Are they happy? No, they say. How can there be happiness without their daughter? As you listen to Soumya's mother, who joins us on the show this evening, ask yourself this question. Is this justice? It took 15 years for Soumya's parents to get a conviction from a trial court. There is still the High Court and the Supreme Court to go. Will that be another 15 years? Is this justice? Or is this a travesty of justice? Madhvi Vishwanathan is Soumya's mother. She is joining us on the broadcast this evening. Madhvi ji, first of all, thank you for your time. It's an important day for you, and it's an important day for your 15-year-long journey. I don't want to push you into a situation that you don't want to be in, but can I ask you what this moment feels like?
I think I should be saying that, I'm happy. But sorry, the word happiness has been obliterated from the dictionary of our lives completely. Our daughter cannot come back. Yes, I'm relieved because it has been a 15 long traumatic years for us. And somehow I'm relieved because this verdict might be a deterrent to others. And it might, I may not say that the roads of Delhi will be safe because of just one group of gangs. At least this group will be out of it if they are given life sentence, which I hope they are given.
Why not death, Madhviji? These are men who killed your daughter. These are men who killed a cherished colleague of mine. Why not death? Why life?
Death is very easy way out. We are going through a life imprisonment of emotions, created a wall of emotions. So let them also suffer the same way. Death is very easy. It finishes, they are not suffering. It's only momentous that time. It should be life,
Madhviji,
meaning not,
I
they
look at
should
what
not
has
get
happened
any
in the last.
remission. They should not get any remission. Life means life. They should suffer for life. And it should be rigorous imprisonment.
Madhviji, I have, of course, not as closely as you have because you've been to court every day for every hearing. But, the last 15 years, at least to someone from the outside who's been observing the case, to me, this is dysfunctional justice, where parents of a girl have to wait for 15 years to get a conviction for their daughter's killers in a trial court. I want you to
Unfortunately,
tell our viewers what these 15 years have been about.
15 years have been terrible. And I'm really worried if they go for to higher court, it is going to be still worse. What is going to happen, I really do not know. I don't think we will be alive to see the end of it. But during this period, 15 years, there have been changes of the judges, there have been changes of the public prosecutor, and there have been so many changes, and papers have been lost, There have been, because if it was done soon, all these problems would not have been there. I think the system is to blame for that. There should be a
And
time-bound
Madhviji, you
period.
knocked at every door.
Also,
You knocked. You knocked at every door. You knocked at the door of Delhi's chief minister as well, seeking a fast tracking of your daughter's case.
it was not for fast tracking.
I mean, how
Actually,
do
we
you?
knocked at it was actually, they had the special public prosecutor was appointed earlier. But then, the special public, he was Mr. Rajiv Mohan. But then he had left and he had resigned and had started private practice. So because of that, he didn't want to continue here. And then we didn't know that. I thought automatically it's another public prosecutor would appoint it. We were going to the court every time and they said there's no public prosecutor. We were not aware of what was happening. After many months, we went to the chief public prosecutor of the Saket court. She also didn't know what was happening. After finding out, she said, this is Makoka case and a special public prosecutor has to be appointed by the Delhi court. By the Delhi state government. So that's why we went to Mr. Kejriwal for that. And then they appointed again Rajiv Mohan.
Is there
then
anger?
When the 3 cases were going on simultaneously, he continued. But after 2 cases got over, he didn't want to continue because 3 cases on the same day was better for him, Remuneration for 3 made a difference, Then again, the same problem happened. Then they appointed the public prosecutor from the Saket court itself instead of a special public prosecutor. So there was a considerable delay in that.
So this was the process punishing you. The process punished you. Instead of punishing the people who killed your daughter, the process punished you for 15 years.
Yes.
Madhviji, is there anger when you look back? What's the emotion that would define this 15-year-old journey, which I'm afraid has still not come to an end?
It has
What
not
you've
come to
got
an
is
end.
what I would say a minor victory right now, because it's
I
not.
know.
We know that in Nirbhaya's case, it didn't come to an end with the trial court. It went to the High
Uh,
Court and then the Supreme Court and then the
this
endless,
also,
endless
even in
torturous wait.
even Jigisha's case, it went to the High Court. In Jigisha Ghosh's case, the same people were involved. They were given death penalty. When it went to High Court, it was commuted to life, actually. So I'm only waiting whatever 26th day of quantum of punishment will be decided. What it is, we have to know. And I'm dreading going through this period again, actually.
No parent should have to go through this again. No parent should have to go through this, either Nirbhaya's parents or you. Ma'am, it's been a difficult day for you. I don't want to take too much of your time. I want to ask
I
you,
know, and that's why I'm not
is
even
there,
coherent.
does, I just want to ask you, is there anger when you look at what has happened in the last 15 years? I was just doing some calculation and I realized that Soumya would have been 40 or 41 this year, 40 actually.
Correct. Huh? No, she was 82 born. She would have been, December, she would have been 41.
Mm.
Hmm.
Mm. Are you
I don't
are
know.
you
We have lost her
angry
forever.
at the system, at India's?
Yes, we are
Does it
angry.
anger you
I
what has
don't
happened
know.
in the last 15 years?
I don't know. At present, I just know that throughout the day I've been shivering. I don't know what is happening. It is something like, worse than what you face in the exam. I don't know how to express it. I just don't know how to express what is happening today with me. That's why I didn't want to talk to the press or anything. I don't know. There's some palpitation going on. My elder daughter has been going on telling me to see our BP. That is the way what we are going through now. Every
Madhviji,
day,
then I
in
request
the
you to go
beginning,
and
we
see
had
your BP.
some hope.
That's not something you should ignore.
Uh,
Hmm.
And in the beginning, when we used to go to the court, we thought every day something positive will happen. I don't know. Then we started losing hope for after some time. That's what. But still, we struggled on. We went on. Whenever we were in Delhi, sometimes we used to go to my daughter. Then we couldn't, elder daughter's place. But otherwise, we were keeping in touch, all the time.
Have you lost faith in India's judicial system, in India's justice system?
It needs, it has to be time bound. They have to make it for each cases. Rape cases sometime has to be fixed. For murder cases, sometime has to be fixed. Each cases there has to be time bound. What is the use of wasting all this money? Keeping when these convicts are brought, there are 5 policemen with each convict, and all of them are in separate. How much money is being wasted? Everything, time, money, everything. And the emotional exhaustion, trauma, everything of all the people concerned. The judicial system needs to be changed completely. At
Madhviji,
least this new
I
judge
thank
who
you for
came
your
wrong
time.
money. Huh. Okay, thank you very
I
much.
thank you for your time, and I'm grateful that you decided to speak to us. Thank you very much. As I said, no
Thank you.
parent should have to go through what you've been through in the last 15 years. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank
Let me go across to someone who's also been very closely associated with this case, the Special Commissioner of Police of Delhi, HGS Dhaliwal. Mr. Dhaliwal, first of all, thank you very much for your time here on Mirror Now. You were in court today when the conviction happened. We saw your pictures there. What does this day mean for you and mean for the case?
Shreya, it's a big day for us because in 2008 to 11 we had a number of important cases, and our teams have diligently followed all cases, and this was the only case left in which the judgment was yet to be pronounced. And we are happy that in all the 14 cases which were like of acute sensitive nature, all have ended up in conviction, and this was the only one in which trial was still continuing. So it's a very big day for us, and the most important part as Mrs. Vishwanathan would have also said, and she has also mentioned, that right from the time when this crime happened on 30th September 2008 till the time the killers were caught in March 2009, all these 8 odd months, we had the family member of Vishwanathan's uh, attending a daily review meeting in which they could see the kind of effort was being put in, and they were since they were privy to most of what we could share, they had absolute trust and faith in our working. And normally what happens in such cases is that, when there is so much delay in catching the killers, families sometimes, starts losing hope, or they are, they do not get proper communication, and there is sometimes demand that the case be shifted or transferred. This will be one of the rare cases where the family of the victim said that we do not want this case to be handled by any of the uh, you know central agencies, and we want the district police to keep working on this case. This was the kind of trust and faith they had in us.
Okay.
So this obviously put more onus on us. It when somebody really has so much faith, then it is your bounden duty to ensure that whatever we could do, we did. And till yesterday, of course, we were also having some apprehension as to which way the verdict will come, because this was a case which was essentially based on a lot of circumstantial evidence, and there was
Correct.
uh, there was a lot of effort put in by teams, but still there were challenges in this case. Though we had a lot of faith, and
Okay.
we had feeling that we will be able to secure conviction, and which finally happened.
Miss, Mr. Dhaliwal, can I ask you a question on behalf of all citizens of the country who are watching this broadcast right now? You are part of India's criminal justice system. Can I ask you why this justice system regularly fails people like the Vishwanathans? Why should it take 13 years to present evidence? Why should it take 15 years to get a conviction? Is this not punishment by process for the victim itself?
Yes, you're right. Partly that it is. It's a punishment by process, and we would also wish as a police department that the trials are much quicker, and the government of India has already set in motion the amendment to the major criminal acts, and the one of the main reasons why the honorable home minister also, as he had said, that the one of the main themes why the overhaul is being done is to have expeditious criminal trials, so that people who are genuine victims of the crime, they are not punished by the process of it.
But that is what happened in this case. We let it go. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Dhaliwal, for joining us on the broadcast. We saw you in court today. We saw you with the family today. We thought it was important to speak to you as well. So thank you very much for being on the show. Let me go across to people who knew Soumya well and who have tracked this case very closely. Tavleen Singh is a friend. She was also a colleague of Soumya. Neelam Krishnamurthy is a citizen voice. She's someone who's lost her children, and she's someone who knows exactly what Soumya's parents have gone through in the last 15 years. Neelam Krishnamurthy, you heard Madhavi ji speak. Is this even justice? After 15 years, a conviction from a lower court, is this even justice, Neelam ji?
You asked me very frankly, this is travesty of justice, and I completely, I can actually empathize with Soumya's parents, because I've been going through this for the last 27 years, and I'm still in the courts. It is very unfortunate. And here I'd like to say one thing. Mr. Dhaliwal was here, Soumya's mother was here, that our criminal justice system, since we're discussing that, one, it is a very accused-friendly system. All the rights are of the accused. the victims in our country are further victimized. The victims have no right whatsoever. You know, it's very unfortunate that now the High Court's come out with another direction that even the accused don't even have to come and attend the courts physically. It happened on the 1st of September. I'm very surprised by people, nobody's discussing this. They can attend the courts virtually, and by the end of the trial, when they're convicted, then High Court and Supreme Court, then the Supreme Court will say, oh, they've had a prolonged trial, so they must be allowed to walk free, or they become old. This is exactly what happened in Upar case. So our system is very, very accused friendly. All benefits to the accused. They have a right to bail. Even if they're convicted in the trial court, now they'll go to the High Court, then the Supreme Court. Why can't we have a thing like this? There is concurrent fining of two courts. Why should the appeal be even admitted in the final court? I fail to understand that. Aren't you wasting the judicial time? How many hours are given, are given away for hearing one appeal? And Soumya's appeal, the appeal of this accused when they file it in the court, this will go into a regular basis. God knows when it will come up. 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, because we know the pendency in the High Court. It is because I'm telling you by experience, I'm very surprised why nobody actually advised Soumya's parents that they should have moved the High Court for an expeditious hearing of the case. That's what I did in both my cases, in the main Upar fire tragedy case and in the tampering of evidence. This is what they should have done. Maybe now I would advise to them that even if they file the appeal, the accused, they should move the High Court and ask for an expeditious hearing. Why should they be given the benefit? It will take another 10 years. And after some time, as it is, Supreme Court has said people are languishing behind bars, their appeals not been heard. They'll come. You've seen what happened in Bilkis Bano case. They said, we've already been in prison for so long and look at our conduct. And for some ground or the other, they'll move the Supreme Court and they'll come out. Do you think this should be permitted? People, I used to say earlier that people are losing faith in the criminal justice system. Today I say people have already lost faith in the system. People have already lost faith in the system. I mean, we have
this is dysfunctional.
No faith.
Just come in here. You're someone.
That's for sure. When I meet people in the court,
give me a minute here. Give me a minute here, ma'am. I just want to get Tavleen into the conversation as well. Tavleen, you're someone who knew Soumya well. You were a friend. You were a colleague as well. You're someone who has tracked the case closely for the last 15 years. This is dysfunctional. It's not just frustrating. It's dysfunctional to see how justice finally arrives at the doorstep of the victim.
See, Shreya, we've covered how legal cases are done. We've covered how crime cases are done. It was so hard, if I can tell you personally, to explain to Soumya's parents that why has it taken so long? If you remember, it was in 2009 when the first 2 arrests were made in Soumya's case. In 2010, the judicial proceedings had started. Today is what? 2023. If a case like that, I agree when Mr. Dhaliwal said that there were problems in evidences, because if you remember, it was only through Jigisha's murder case that they had chanced upon the fact that these are the same people who have been involved in Soumya's, murder case as well. How many debates are we going to have? How many questions are we going to ask time and again, every time there's a case like this? I fail to understand. The governments, they say that now systems are being formed as far as fast tracking cases are concerned. We know for a fact that the Home Ministry is working towards that particular direction as well. But it is, you feel worse when you see people, citizens of our country, like Madhvi Vishwanathan and Mr. MK, who are the parents of Soumya Vishwanathan. Shreya, not once, today, ma'am has been tired. She's emotionally wired, but not once have they had any bitterness, out in the open for the system to complain to anyone. They have been good citizens of the country. They have followed the law. They have taken each and every step. And to see people like that who follow the law correctly being given justice 15 years down the line, that's no justice. And it's like, it's a cliche, justice delayed is justice denied, holds very true to this story.
has it angered you? Because, anyone who listens to what has happened in the last 15 years or has tracked what has happened in the last 15 years, my underlying sentiment is anger. Today should be a day when we stand up and say, okay, at least something got done. Instead, we look back at 15 years and say, oh my God, this is not how this is supposed to be. Instead of relief, for me, there is anger. Tavleen.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, if I can tell you in very brief, Soumya and I worked together in night shifts many times. So that we used to travel together because we lived close by. And she was one person who everyone, you've also worked with her, who everyone could depend on. And, whenever there was a breaking story, she said, it's okay, even if I'm getting late, I'll go back. You guys go back and I'll handle it. So for a person like that, and if you remember what the confessions, when the confessions of the killers were out, they said that it was thrilling for us to do something like that. There was no mind behind it. So it was such a freak crimes that it angers you more, that for no fault of hers, for death is not, nobody deserves death, of course, but at this kind of incident that had happened to someone like her, like I said, that we had no words that what has happened. And to see the kind of delays that have taken place, there were judges. Today when I was speaking to Madhvi ma'am, she said she was showing me the number of courts. She said first we were in 301, then we were taken to 304, then we were taken to 306. There were judges changed, there were 8 judges changed, there were prosecutors changed. So that is why every day they have gone for the hearing. They are not required to go for the hearing all the time, Shreya, because there are public prosecutors, there are teams that are handling it. But because there was so much change while the trial was on and while they were trying to push their case forward, that they were present all the time. And remember, they're both above 70. And now Soumya's dad is above 80. Soumya's mom is above 75. It breaks your heart to see parents in this time of their life going in day and out of a courtroom, fighting for justice for their daughter, who was killed in a very, very freak case. And to say that, wow, 15 years justice has come. Yes, there is anger, but there is one sense of hope that somewhere maybe for them, for the family, a sense of closure can begin. And I hope what Miss Neelam Krishnamurthy is saying, that they can fast track in going to High Court, I hope that some advice is given. We, as a group have been with the family, so we will also, tell them to do whatever they can. But let me tell you one thing, just last small bit, that both Soumya's father and mother, they have been saying that we don't want to do anything extra. See, they know people know them. It's been in the highlight. It has a lot of media glare, but they have never used that media glare, or that that because she was a journalist that things can move forward, because a lot of things are said that when you're a common citizen, nobody pays attention and cases are just languishing. But they have not used that, which is why it's absolutely been on paper and on completely the way they've done. That is why they've taken 15. That is why it's taken 15 years. Today, when in the morning, when the parents were sitting with some few friends and all the journalists outside court number 306 of the Saket District Court, there was very less hope, because her parents were saying again and again that the argument put by the accused lawyers has been very, very strong. So they expected the worst. So which is why today, when the court announced that they are held guilty, there was a sense of relief. But obviously, the fight for them is not over yet.
Tavleen, we'll leave it there. We know the fight for them is certainly not over. There's the High Court and there's the Supreme Court as well. Neelamji, thank you very much for joining us. Tavleen, thank you very much for joining us as well on the broadcast. On that note, I'm slipping into a quick break on the show. There's much more news coming up next. Do stay with us.